Welcome back to the Todd Durkin Impact Show, the podcast dedicated to lighting you up with inspiration, motivating you to be better in all areas of your life, and igniting action inside of you so that you can ultimately create more impact in this world that so desperately needs you. On every Impact Show, we dive into mindset, health set, leadership, and something personal so that I can coach you to be the very best version of yourself. With that, it's time to dive into today's Impact Show episode. Today's Impact Show podcast is sponsored by my friends over at eCore Athletic Flooring, my chosen brand when it comes to all of our flooring needs inside of Impact X Performance. My friends, there's three reasons why. Number one, it's a premium brand, and we want our clients and members to have best in class when it comes to flooring. Two, sustainability. That's right, sustainability. It's made by upcycling used commercial tires, and eCore Athletic reclaims over 430 million pounds of waste rubber each year. Now that, my friends, is sustainability. And number three, performance. And I love performance. With excellent shock absorption, slip resistance, and long-lasting durability, eCore Athletic Flooring is engineered to work hard and play hard. Whether you're designing or remodeling your fitness center, weight room, or yoga studio, rest assured that eCore Athletic Flooring is safe, easy to care for, and can keep up with the pace no matter what your activity is. Check them out at ecoreathletic.com/Todd-Durkin. Once again, check it out. I got a special surprise there for you. Go to ecoreathletic.com/Todd-Durkin. Check it out today. Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And this one is not just another episode. This is a special one. Why? Well, there's several reasons. Number one, we got a big book coming out this week called Coaching Greatness. Yeah, this Friday, March 21st, the book that I've been working on for many, many months now comes out. And I'm excited today because in just a moment, I'm going to read and share my dedication to the book and the introduction. Yeah, it's going to be like an audio book podcast where you're going to actually hear the very beginning of the book and what it's all about. And I'm really excited for that. In addition, Friday, March 21st is also my birthday. Yep. And I'm going to share something special we're going to do for that with the book. And then this is also the Virtual Speakers Summit week. It is going to be an awesome week. Right now, as we speak, we've got the Speaker Summit happening. It's free for 1 week, but I'm requesting a donation, please. 100% of any and all money goes back to the Durkin Impact Foundation, where we can scholarship kiddos to college. And the last I checked, college tuitions are going up. So please, just by being part of the Speakers Summit, 20 talks over 5 days. That's 4 or 5 talks a day. You'll be receiving in your inbox simply by sharing, by signing up for that. Go to ToddDurkin.com. And then it is going to be just a very celebratory week this week. So it's going to also be unique because this podcast is really going to have a different format. Mindset. What's the mindset? I only have 2 sections this week, mindset and personal, because the personal is going to be my read, which is going to encompass leadership, health set, and personal. Mindset. Yeah, I shared it's my birthday, Friday, March 21st. I'm very grateful for that, but I don't want it about me. I want it about how can we raise some money to give back through the Impact Foundation. So I want to do something that's actually going to do something for our community and make a difference for other people. So I don't need anything from anyone. Thank y'all for the well wishes in advance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I would love if you could do 2 things. Number one, buy a book. Whether it's 1 book, 2 books, 5 books, 10 books or more. When you buy a Coaching Greatness book, the book is going to be a great read for you and anyone you coach or any coaches you know who would benefit from that. So please buy a book. It should be on sale. Well, it'll definitely be on sale by March 21st, this coming Friday, if you're listening to it as the pod drops here on the 17th. Or you could also donate to the Speakers Virtual Summit between now and March 31st. Again, 100% of the money going back to the Impact Foundation. It is Impact Month, and we have a lot of great things happening. So let's dive into Coaching Greatness. I got to share, I wrote Coaching Greatness all by myself. No ghostwriter, no co-authors, no chat GPT, just me, a pad of paper, and a laptop. And I spent all of Q3 and Q4 2024 working hard on writing this book because this, in many ways, is my manifesto, my coaching manifesto. For 25 plus years, I've been coaching my tail off, and this is it. And part one is my complete manifesto. It's 10 chapters long. It's my 10 traits of greatness. And then some. I've got 21 of my closest friends who are also coaches and part of my coaching tree who have contributed a chapter as well. So you almost get a 2-for-1. You get my book, the entire book, and then all 21 coaches whom I've collaborated with and personally mentored myself and coached in my career. And they all wrote a chapter in Coaching Greatness and what that means to them. So I can't encourage you enough. This is my manifesto. This is it. It's my ethos, my philosophy. It's what makes me tick. And it's my 10 principles of greatness. And I got some surprise in there as well. So you're going to get surprised when you get the book also. So get the book today. Go out there, and I promise you it's going to make a huge impact in your life, whether you're a parent, you're a coach, you know coaches. So with that being said, are you ready? Are you ready to dive into Coaching Greatness and what it means? Yeah? Good. So the title is Coaching Greatness, my coaching manifesto, along with 21 of the world's best coaches who share their secrets to coaching greatness. Dedication. This book is dedicated to the greatest coach of all time, Warren H. Wolf. His dedication, commitment to excellence, and ability to inspire kids to be their best literally impacted hundreds of thousands of young men in New Jersey and across the country. Coach Wolf's high school football coaching career lasted over 50 years. And he not only coached football, but he actually served as the mayor of Brick Township, superintendent of the Brick schools, town council, assemblyman, and he served at his church on Sundays. Oh, and by the way, he won 6 New Jersey state championships, 18 short conference football championships, and is a member of the New Jersey Football Hall of Fame. This is the Coach Wolf, the greatest coach of all time. A tribute to all the coaches I've had the opportunity to work with over the last 25 plus years. Wow. Fitness trainers, coaches, sport coaches, parents, life coaches, and to all the people who have volunteered their life, paid or unpaid, to make someone else's life better. There have been many incredible stories, many lives saved. I can't even think about the stories I don't even know of, how relationships were restored, families were strengthened, legacies were created, and communities were forever changed because of these impact makers. Thank you. And also to the 21 people who chose to participate in this book, part 2, and write about what coaching greatness means to them and how they impact people today. The time, energy, and resources to write a book is a daunting task. A huge debt of gratitude goes out to each one of these people for their willingness to participate in this process, share what they have done, and ultimately create impact on levels that transcend the norm. Thank you to the following co-authors of this book: Bobby Aldrich, Brian Baker, Travis Barnes, Chad Cannon, Jason Downing, Carolyn Eli, Helen Hashem, Judy Isaacson, Amber Kivett, Rachel Martin, Joy McCullough, Amanda Middleman, Jess Marat, Jody Needham, Christopher Nelson, Yvette Salva, Dave Sider, Jen Simpson, Matthew Smith, Sarah Stack, Marcella Todd. Lastly, thank you. A portion of every book sold is going to the Durkin Impact Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3 organization that is intent on giving back 100% of everything raised to the foundation for two initiatives: suicide prevention and families survivors of suicide, and two, education. We scholarship student athletes who are going off to college nationwide every May. Your purchase today helps these two powerful initiatives, education and mental health. And from that, bottom of my heart, I say thank you. God bless you, Todd Durkin. Introduction. Circa 1984. It was the 7th grade when I played my first Pop Warner football game. I'll never forget putting my rib pads and shoulder pads on, my thigh boards and knee pads in their proper slots in the pants, my J pads around my hips, and getting ready to slip on my helmet. Man, was I nervous, but also very excited. Wait, what's this? There's a note inside my helmet. What is this? It's your first football game ever. Well, you've played a lot of pickup football in the backyard and with your friends and in the street, but this is your first one with real referees. Go be you. And for every touchdown you throw, you get a whole pizza. And for every touchdown you run, you get a soda. Go run wild and throw wild. Have fun tonight. It's your night. Dad. High up on the 40-yard line. My first helmet note. And the rest is history. But there's one thing I haven't shared about this story. At every Pop Warner football game, home and away, there always sat the Silver Fox, all by himself, typically at about the 20-yard line. Who's the Silver Fox, you ask? Well, everyone knows the Silver Fox. The Silver Fox was Coach Warren Wolf, the head football coach at Brick High School. He was a legend. He had just gone back-to-back state championships in 1981, 1982, and 1983. Heck, his first state championship was in 1974, the first year New Jersey had state championships in football. My brother, Paul, was the quarterback of that team, and they somehow beat a Camden football team that was bigger, faster, stronger, and dare I even say better than Brick. But Coach Wolf and the likes of my brother Paul, Donovan Brown, Dale Koch, Donnie Gethard, Kerry Matson, Warren Wolf Jr., and it goes on, somehow shocked the world and put Brick on the map. Heck, it became known as Football Town, USA. And I was up next. I was identified as the next protege. And at every game in my middle school years, I always saw Coach Wolf sitting up in the stands, rain or shine, always with a notebook taking notes. I often thought, I wonder what he's writing in there. Well, in my final year of Pop Warner, the 8th grade, I was fortunate enough to be named Pop Warner All-American. Just 50 student athletes received this award. And I'll never forget the award ceremony celebrating this in Philadelphia. They actually brought in 2 NFL players to speak at it. One NFL player was a tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, whose name was John Frank. I'll never forget that John Frank actually retired early from the NFL so he could become a doctor. He ultimately became an orthopedic surgeon and did very well for himself. The other guy was a quarterback named Jim Kelly. Yeah, that Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly was the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. They had not yet played in one of their 4 Super Bowls, but of course, I knew who Jim Kelly was. Heck, the class of 1983 had Marino, Elway, Tony Eason, and Jim Kelly. Needless to say, I remember them very well. I also remember Coach Wolf being in that room. He wasn't even my coach yet, but he was in Philadelphia. He joined my Pop Warner coaches, Coach Jim Mars, Coach Bonavito, my father, and my mother, my brother Paul. It was a very memorable occasion as I remember thinking to myself, I can do this. I can live out my dream to play in the NFL someday also. Fast forward a few months, it was the spring of my 8th grade year, and I'll never forget Coach Wolf picking me up from Veterans Memorial Middle School to drive me to Brick High School so I could throw with the high school quarterbacks. It was then that I knew that I was going to have a shot to play varsity football as a freshman. That had never been done in over 30 years of illustrious history at Brick High School. It was also then that I knew Coach Wolf was special. On the 15-minute car rides over from middle school to high school, he asked me about my dreams with football. He asked me about my family. He asked me about my brothers, Paul and Stephen, both who played for Coach Wolf. He asked me about my faith. Coach Wolf was also the local Fellowship of Christian Athletes huddle leader. I could tell he cared, and I could tell he identified something in me that was special. Don't we all want that? Don't we all want a coach to find that thing that makes us special? Maybe it's physical talent. Maybe it's high character. Maybe it's the ability to lead. Maybe it's the ability to be a great teammate, encourage, and lift others up. Coach Wolf found it, and he made me want to do even better in all aspects of school, sport, and life. In my freshman year, I was told I was going to be playing varsity. It had only been done once before in the school since it opened in 1957, that as a freshman would play varsity football. And that guy, Dan McCullough, a linebacker and running back, was arguably the best player to ever wear the green and white and don the classic University of Michigan wingtip helmet. And I was up next. I'll never forget the article that came out in the Asbury Park Press before my freshman season even started that first season. It said, "Did Warren Wolf find his protege? Can Durkin take the reins as a freshman and complete history?" Well, the beginning of that 31st season of Coach Wolf did not go as planned. We started out 0-5. Never before did we even have a losing season, and it was now guaranteed that this would be his first. I was dejected, especially since I had not yet even taken one snap. I served as the backup. And then it changed. In the 6th game of my freshman year, I got the nod. On the field, everyone seemed so big. I was 14 years old going against 17 and 18-year-old grown men. In my mind, they were big and strong. I was still about 5'10 and only 160 pounds as a freshman in high school, and I hadn't even hit my growth spurt yet. Heck, in the first game against Jackson High School, in one of my first passes, I threw a bomb as far as I possibly could. I don't remember much after that because I closed my eyes and got absolutely blown up. But I do remember hearing our sidelines erupt as I saw that George Steck, my wide receiver, came down with the ball to complete a 47-yard touchdown pass. We finished the season 2-5-2 that year. Yes, 2 ties. I still can't believe we didn't have overtime back then, but we didn't lose again that year either. I remember feeling so bad for Coach Wolf. It was like we let him down. It was like I let him down. The crazy thing I learned from that year, despite being his first losing season ever, was if the team loses, a great coach always takes the blame regardless of the situation. If the team wins, a great coach always showers his team and players and gives them the credit. I learned that at a young age, and it's ingrained in me today. I'm still in awe of the number of coaches who do not take the responsibility after a loss, yet instead deflect it to someone or something else. Those are not the great coaches. Let me give you a quick example. Fast forward to my junior year in high school. We actually had a stacked team, and we finished that year 7-2. We should have been at least 8-1. But I cost us one of the games. Literally, I cost us one of the games. It was actually the second game of the season. We were going against one of our big rivals, Toms River South. They were good, loaded with talent. I'll never forget this. It was a defensive struggle in the first half, and neither team was moving the ball. Toward the end of the first half, I dropped back to pass and got absolutely pulverized on the backside and coughed up the ball. TR South recovered the fumble on our approximate 30-yard line, and they scored with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. 7-0, bad guys. We go in at halftime and make our adjustments. And I got to tell you, we had a great coaching staff. After now being in the game of football for over 40 years and seeing many staffs, we truly had a great high school staff assembled at Brick High School. Coach Wolf always did a great job with this, as many of his former players came back to coach. It was also an era where 80% of the staff were in the building and could check up on you. It was different back then. Needless to say, we came out at halftime on fire and moved the ball, but we couldn't register any points. And before you know it, the end of the game was nearing, and we're still down 7-0. Well, we got the ball back one last time with under 2 minutes remaining in the game, and we were on our own 20-yard line, which meant we would need to drive the ball 80 yards for a tie or go-ahead score. And while we were predominantly a wing T football team, it was now time to throw the ball. I actually remember being excited before this drive, thinking to myself, this is where I put myself on the map. Well, we methodically moved the ball down the field, and we're slicing and dicing them. And with 6 seconds left in the game, down 7-0, I threw a 20-yard touchdown pass to tight end Pete Hennigan. The place went wild as everyone was going crazy. And after the TD pass, I was thinking, are we going for 2 and the win, or do we kick it and tie it up? Again, there was no overtime in high school football back then. Well, amidst the chaos, I looked to the sideline, and I can see the coaches huddling up to see what we wanted to do. I did my best to get everyone in a huddle and calm down, but everyone was ecstatic, and no kicking block was thrown on the field because I was also the kicker. So I assumed we're going for 2 points to win the game. I love the call. And then I hear from the sideline, kick it, kick it. The block's thrown on the field, and we quickly line up to kick the extra point to tie the game. And guess what? I am the kicker. We scramble to get set up. I hear the referee saying, you better hurry up because there's not a lot of time on the play clock. Heck, I even took my 3 steps back, 2 steps over, 2 breaths, and tick, 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 tick. No timeouts left. The snap goes back. It's a perfect snap by Hanscom. The hold goes down. Perfect hold by Billy Kleiser. And I miss the extra point. Yep, I flat out missed it. I flushed it left. As a lefty kicker, I pushed it wide left, and we lost the game 7-6. I'll never forget it. I laid on that field as the other team celebrated as the clock was at 0. I cried like a baby because I let my team down. And the one thing I'll always remember is Coach Wolf coming out to the field, picking me up off the ground, looking at me so deeply and intently and saying, Todd, that was my fault. I should have never put you in that situation. We failed as coaches today. We deliberated, and you had to rush the kick because of us. That is totally on me. I'll never forget it. He later said it should have never come down to that. He said the coaching staff should have opened up the playbook much earlier in the game and not played so tight and not played to not lose versus playing to win. Whether he was right or wrong, the one lesson I learned that day, and I can't tell you how many times this has rung true in 40 plus years of coaching, is that if we lose, it's on me as a coach or us as a coaching staff. We could have prepared better. We could have called a better game. We could have called the timeout or stopped the clock. We could have opened it up earlier. We should have. You get the idea. Don't put it on the kids. Even if they miss the extra point or they miss a free throw or a penalty kick or drop a game-winning pass or a fumble, great coaches always accept the responsibility after a loss, and they give credit to the kids after a win. Thank you, Coach Wolf. Thank you. Fast forward 1 year. It's my senior year. We returned to the state playoffs for the first time in 5+ years. We're going against a formidable Camden, New Jersey football team that was loaded with talent. Interesting enough, 15 years earlier, my brother Paul helped stun the Camden Panthers 21-20 as Brick captured their first ever state championship. And here I was now about to quarterback the Green Dragons to potential another improbable victory. Camden was once again bigger, faster, and stronger than us. Their DN, Art Bussey, was going to Clemson. Their starting middle linebacker was going to Nebraska. They had about 5 guys going to big-time colleges to play football. We had 1. I was the only one going to play D1 football on our team, but man, did we have a cohesive unit. We were extremely disciplined. We executed our wing T concept, the exact same one we had been running since Pop Warner, to perfection. And we believed we would win. The coaches always had us believing we would win. In the game, I remember getting my bell rung about 3 times. But back then, you took some smelling salts and kept playing. I apparently threw 2 touchdown passes, but don't remember much about the game. We won a thrilling 13-7 victory. And truth be told, we won that game because of coaching. But of course, Coach Wolf and the entire staff gave us kids the credit. That Camden victory propelled us into the state championship game against a team called Cherry Hill East. They hadn't lost a game in a couple years. They're stacked with talent. 7 other guys were going to play college football. Their running back, Brian Curley, was going to play at Penn State. Their quarterback, Glenn Foley, was going to play at Boston College. Foley eventually went into the NFL and played 7 years as a quarterback, primarily as a backup. On that specific day in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, our luck ran out. We just couldn't match up with their talent. We knew it. The coaching staff knew it. And we lost 37-18. I'll never forget the day. It was December 5th, 1988. It happened to be the same day of the Army-Navy football game being held at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The interesting thing is that I was both Army and Navy's #1 quarterback recruit. They wanted me to attend their wonderful institutions. To this day, I believe that if I had attended the first Army versus Navy football game on that day, I probably would have chosen to go to college and play football at one of those institutions. But we took the bus ride home down Route 70 that day back to Brick, New Jersey, and I was the last guy to leave the locker room that day. It was really hard for me to peel off the beloved green and white one more time. It felt like I was taking out an iron suit, as it must have taken me 20 minutes to strip down to nothing and get that suit off. I remember the sobs. I remember thinking about the memories over 6+ years of donning the green and white, weight training sessions, beach sessions, practices, camps at Admiral Farragut Academy, camps at Penn State, Trenton State, Glassboro State, film sessions, and many, many, many practices for many years, hearing, "Run it again, run it again, run it again, run it again." When I finally walked out the locker room for that last time, there was only one man standing at the door, Coach Wolf. It was his custom and tradition to stand at the door and shake the hand of every single young man on his team, from the first one out the door until the very last young man left. Even if it was 20 minutes after the first kid left, he'd still be standing. I'll never forget Coach Wolf gave me a hug that only a father-like figure could give, and said, "Todd, I'm so proud of you. All of Brick is proud of you. You are one of the very best to have ever gone through here. I'm excited for your future and all that God has in store for you. I'll always be here for you." Fast forward one more time with Coach Wolf. It's now April 1992, and it's my senior year at William & Mary. My college choice over Army, Navy, Rutgers, James Madison, Illinois, and a host of others. My spring football game had just concluded. I was named captain of the football team at William & Mary, and Coach Wolf was sitting in the stands. He wasn't there because it was my spring football game. He was there because my father, Paul Durkin, who was another big factor in my life from ages 10 to 20, had just passed away a couple months before. Dad died February 19, 1992, of a massive heart attack at the age of 58. Coach Wolf drove 7 hours down to William & Mary to support me in that game. And I'll never forget this. After the spring game, we chatted for a few minutes and said our goodbyes. He gave me a big hug and slipped me a firm handshake. He always said that you must have a good, strong, firm handshake because a handshake tells a lot about a man. But this one was different. When I looked down, there was a $100 bill in my hand. He said, "I know what it's like to be a poor college student." He was right. I was stunned. How did he know? You must remember, this was way before the time of NIL. Heck, scholarship student athletes weren't even allowed to work back then during school. That's crazy. All I could think about that was worth a great date and a few peaches to spare. It was going to go a long way. All I could think about was that this was worth a great date and a few peaches to spare. Not that great coaches slip their athletes money, but great coaches show up when their athletes most need it, even if that means driving 7 hours and staying overnight. It's a lesson I'll never forget. Coach Wolf is the greatest coach of all time, and I mean that. I do think there's some other legendary ones out there. John Wooden, Nick Saban, Joe Paterno, Phil Jackson, Pat Summitt, Gino Auriemma. Did I say John Wooden? Oh, yes, I did. I love reading about John Wooden and what he stood for. I love what his former players said about him. But I didn't know him. I did know and play for Coach Wolf. And I would have done anything Coach Wolf said. He's my litmus test of greatness to this day. He's someone I still want to prove myself to, despite his passing in November 2018. I don't think it's a surprise to many that I went into coaching. Sometimes I wonder, what would have happened if I got into football coaching? Heck, maybe I'll do that someday in the future for Reinvention 3.0. But I went into health and fitness coaching early in my career, primarily as a trainer and a massage therapist. And then 7 years into my career, I became a business coach as I started my Todd Durkin Mastermind coaching program in 2007. But to me, a coach is a coach. To this day, I do many different forms of coaching. Through coaching in my Todd Durkin Mastermind group, Fitness Pros. Through coaching in my Todd Durkin Impact X Life Coaching groups. Through my Todd Durkin Impact Life Coaching certification. Through my Impact Speakers course. Through Impact X Performance. Through my live events and retreats. Through my original gym I started in year 2000 called Fitness Quest 10. It is there that I got to coach some of the greatest athletes to ever play the game. In the NFL, that includes athletes like Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, Darren Sproles, Aaron Rodgers, Gerald McCoy, and hundreds of other NFL players and superstars. In MLB, that includes players like Steven Strasburg, Chris Young, Tony Gwynn Jr., and a host of dozens of other MLB players. And even in the UFC, I've had the opportunity to work with guys like Mike Chandler, who epitomizes the meaning of hard work, grit, and champion. And through my latest concept, Impact X Performance. This is my fitness and coaching franchise that allows me to scale my vision of a holistic and comprehensive business to impact more people than ever before. And through my keynotes and speaking events, and yes, even speaking, I view myself as a coach who speaks and inspires. And now, almost 30 years later, I have a good deal of experience coaching. Much of that is professional coaching. Some of it is even for fun as a volunteer coach who has coached his own kids at all levels, from youth all the way to graduation, both in the weight room and in sport, basketball, lacrosse, and football. And that being said, I have boiled coaching greatness down into 2 categories. Part 1 of this book, my top 10 philosophies of coaching greatness. Part 2 is my coaching tree and impact. It's one thing to coach greatness. It's another thing to coach coaches who each impact hundreds or thousands of people. What's special about this book is that it's not just my beliefs about what makes a coach special or impactful or great. It really is about how 21 of the coaches who I've impacted as a coach share their experience with coaching greatness and what they do to maximally impact those they coach. Well, it could have been dozens or hundreds or even thousands of more coaches. I'm honored that these 21 coaches have chosen to share their stories of coaching greatness in this legacy project. With that being said, let's dive in right now to part 1 of coaching greatness. My friends, thank you. Thank you for listening to that introduction and the dedication to Coach Wolf, the greatest coach of all time. And when I talk about coaching greatness and what it stands for, this book is a true legacy project and one that brings my heart to tears, and I got choked up several times discussing it, because I know the time and energy and effort that has gone on to not even just writing this book, but in the 25 years of coaching and all of the great people who I've had the opportunity to coach and impact their lives. So I thank you. I thank you for picking up Coaching Greatness. Pick it up, read it, pass it on. If you coach teams and you want to gift your kids the power of it, I know that kids and adults alike are all very, very impacted by coaches. And I know each and every one of you have had great coaches. Some of you have had not so great coaches, but I can tell you this: Coaching Greatness is one that I know is going to impact you. Thank you for listening today. Please share this episode. God bless you. Pick up Coaching Greatness now, and let's get ready to coach greatness. Until next time, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and go create impact. If you're a business owner tired of doing it all alone and feeling burned out, I've got some great news for you today. The TD High Performance Mastermind Group is your chance to get the coaching, accountability, and even the community that you need, all starting at just $99 a month. And here's a bonus. New members get their first retreat for free. Yeah, the first live retreat for free. Imagine connecting with like-minded entrepreneurs, learning powerful strategies, and recharging all around the country, all while building a business that you absolutely love. Ready for that transformation? Head to toddurkin.com/TD Mastermind today. That is toddurkin.com/TD Mastermind today, and book your free strategy call with Kelly Watson now to secure your spot and claim your free retreat.